Okay, children. 5.5 Function rules. 5.5 function rules.
I don't think it does.
You what?
I don't think it does.
Got it. I get
It's not.
Okay. Children. It's gonna be one of those days. Alright, here we go. Function rule
What page are you on? Okay.
is an equation Oh, look at that. Underlined, circled, and 2 stars. So, function rule is an equation that pairs each member of the domain. What's the domain?
X.
Good. With an element of the range. What's the range?
What? So does element just mean number?
Exactly. So, the one thing you do need to remember, whenever they say, what is the function rule? They're asking, what's the equation? And it says that pairs each member of the domain with an element of the range. Basically, what you are doing today, how did they go from X to Y? How did they go from X to Y? There's a pattern. Okay, there's always a pattern with these equations. So what you do need to remember is when they say find the function rule of blah, 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 they're asking for the equation. That's what you need to remember. We're dealing with ordered pairs today. Ordered pairs again, X and Y. All right, I'll let you catch up.
Are there many notes today?
For you, yes.
Yeah.
When you're done, put your pen or pencil down so I know that you are done. Make sure you take really, really, really good notes. Okay, here we go. Jump right in with an example. Now, this is an example of like a typical problem. Domain is -3, -1, 0, 2, and 4. Function rule is f of x equals 3x plus 2. Write that down. So these are your x's. Remember, that's your x's. This was given. They gave that to you, and they also gave you the equation. So they gave you your x's, and they gave you the equation. Remember, when they say function rule, blah, 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 that means equation. Function rule is a fancy way of saying equation. Make sure you write this down. Taylor. Hello, are you here?
Maybe.
All right, make sure you have this written down. And I'm going to draw a little arrow here so that you know. That's the equation. So they gave you in this problem the x's, the domain. They gave you the equation, which they call the function rule. Guess what you need to find out? Gabby? The y. Okay, the ordered pairs. Now, when they give you the domain and the function rule, aka equation, you're going to make a table. -3, -1, 0, 2, 4. The equation goes right here. 3x plus 2. And that's going to give us our f of x, which is also called your...
Why?
Oh, very good, children. Okay, so let's start plugging in the information. Now, one of the things that really messed y'all up on Fridays or Thursday's homework, Thursday's homework, is when substituting. Guys, always substitute using parentheses. Always substitute using parentheses. Trust me. If you don't, you're going to mess up like some of you did. Also, rewrite each of these things. Because I'll have students that'll do this part, but then they forget to add 2. So do the math. -3 times +3 is -9. Plus 2, -7. So make sure you have all of this written down. And if you're like, wait, where did you get that? Let me know, and then I'm going to stop there and let y'all catch up. This is nothing new here because y'all have done this before. When you're done, put your pencil down. Bless you.
Thank you.
Okay, then we're going to go ahead and write them out. And we can write it out. And you really, unless they specify, I always use F for function, but you don't have to. And to be honest, I'm not going to be that picky. I need ordered pairs. You do need to kind of get used to putting them in the little bracket here so that you know that you're dealing with a set, okay? Because it goes along with function. So we're going to write our ordered pairs. I'm just going to write it like this. You can write it, going across the page. I don't care. Comma. Yes?
So whenever you're doing the function thing, you have to put parentheses and stuff because it's an order pair. But if it's just the domain, then you don't have to put parentheses.
You have to put the squiggly parentheses.
But no parentheses, just the squiggly thing.
If you're just listing domain?
Or range.
Right, because the parentheses right
Just
here
for
means X
order
and
pairs.
Y.
Okay.
But if you're just listing domain, then it would be exactly like this, or range like this, or if, it looked different or something. But yeah. And I'm not going to be picky on y'all's little brackets there. Also, when graphing, my rule is you have to use graph paper. So if you have homework and you're like, well, I don't have graph paper at home, then make sure you take some graph paper with you. You don't need 15 sheets, but probably, 2 or 3 take home. You do need to use a straight edge when doing your graphs. So if you don't have a ruler, don't take a ruler home, but you can use anything. Like I literally will find a card or anything around here to draw my straight edges. Okay? But we've got to get serious on our graphs. And each line is going to be, of the graph paper, is a number. Okay? We're not going to just draw a bunch of little hatches, like weird things like I'm about to do right now. Okay. Now we're going to graph it. What?
Basically, do as I say and as I do.
Exactly. Well, these are notes. That's different. Okay. So, go ahead and graph your ordered pairs. Hey, just start that one with you. Okay. Wait. This is your bag. Put it in your backpack. Don't forget. Okay. So, go ahead and graph all this stuff. And let's see. Do you connect the dots? Correct. Because they gave you the domain, you do not connect the dots. And I've run out of room. If this was home, oh, that's way off too. It should be like right there. But you get the idea. And again, don't connect dots since they gave you the axis or domain. So there's your answer. Kind of like what we did last week. I just want you to get used to when they ask what's when they say the function rule is, I need you to know what that means. I didn't do 4 and 14 because I've run out of room, so you get the idea, right? It doesn't have to be perfect. Make sure you write out the ordered pairs. Have your graph look somewhat like mine. Doesn't have to be perfect. Don't connect the dots, and make sure you write in your notes. You don't connect the dots on here because they gave you very specific X's and domains. So you don't need to connect them, because remember when we connect them, that's saying it's all the dots right there, right? All the ordered pairs, all the places on the line. If they give you specific ones, they're not looking for all of them. So when you're done with this, put your pens, pencils down so I know that you have finished. Y'all good? You got it, Michaela? Okay. Cecilia, did you get it? Okay, be honest if you didn't. You good over there, Emily? Okay, I don't have to throw my shoe and claim I'm throwing it at Taylor and miss really, 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 really bad.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, here's another example. This time they say graph function y equals the absolute value of x. And that's all they tell you. So this is given in the problem. So if you're going to graph it and all they gave you was the function rule, this is the function rule. It's just written differently. Okay? I need y'all to get used to that. Why they can't just say equation. But it's the function rule. So you know what you got to do. They didn't give you the domain this time, so you got to do what?
Substitute.
Come up with your own. Okay, so Taylor.
Is the absolute value of 1 1?
Okay, so you're going to make a table. All right, so here we go. Did they give us the X? No. So I'm going to choose random. And because this is, there's nothing that has to do with like fractions, like a third or something where I have to get multiples of 3, I'm going to go with Old Faithfuls. Like an old dog or cat.
Old Yeller.
And we're going to look for our Y. Now remember, these were random, meaning they didn't give them to us. They didn't give them to us, we just made them up, or I just made them up. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and substitute. You don't have to put this in parentheses because it's all by itself. So the absolute value of -2 is 2. The absolute value of -1 is 1. Absolute value of 0 is 0.
Oh wait, I thought this was square root.
Oh my god. Yeah.
The absolute value of 1 is 1. Absolute value of 2 is 2. Does everyone remember what absolute value is?
Yes, I thought it was square root.
That's okay. But the only thing you have to remember about absolute value is that if it's a negative, it's a positive. Do y'all remember that?
Yes.
Okay, so make sure you have these.
I was like, where?
Okay, and we're going to write our set. This time, I'm not even going to have a letter. I'm just putting it inside the weird brackets that change every time I write them. And I have -2 and 2. -1, 1. 0 and 0. Always looks like an owl. 1 and 1. And 2 and 2. Write that down. And then you're going to graph it. The more X's that you have over here, like if you just did 3, you will not have a complete graph. And I'm going to show you that in just a minute. Now, since they did not give us our X's and we had to come up with our own, do we connect the dots or no? That's right, we connect the dots. So connect dots because you're choosing random. You chose. They did not. So in this case, the domain is all real numbers, which is R, because it was not given. So when you have to guess your own, domain, the domain's going to be all real numbers. What would the range be? Raise your hand. Gabby?
Oh wait, no. It would be -2.
Range would be, remember it's the y-axis.
Oh, okay. It'd be 0.
You're on the right track. So y would be what? So be the range would be all numbers greater than 0. Look, does any part of the graph go down here? So it's only utilizing this portion of the y. So if you look, this is going on forever. So it's utilizing all of the x number line. But as far as y, it's only utilizing this section. Does that make sense? Any questions? So,
How do you know that it's greater than or equal to?
focus on right here.
You need to get the equal to.
Look right here. Look right here. This is the y-axis. We're not even looking at that. The range is what are we utilizing on the y number line. So where does it begin? Where does our graph begin? Right here on 0. So y can equal 0, right? Because I mean, look right here. In y 0. So it starts right here, and then it utilizes all of the y going up to infinity and beyond.
But not under.
That's right. See how the graph is going up? It never goes down, so we never use this portion.
And how is domain all real numbers?
Because
If it doesn't go down.
it's all real numbers of the x-axis. Because domain is just the x, so we're going to pretend we're not even looking at the y. This arrow is going on forever.
Oh, you're just trying to focus on
Yes,
not the height.
exactly. So domain, you're only focusing on this. Range, you're only focusing on this. Okay, so last night I was going over this stuff before, I always do the night before, the day before. Allie happened to be sitting next to me, and she looked at that, and she goes, you know what helped me? I said, what? She said, I used colored pencils. I said, what did you do? She goes, I had 2 favorite colors. She said, and what I did is I would do my graph, and when I had to write domain and range, I chose one color that was always like, let's say, green. Range or domain was always green. And she would literally trace out the x-axis in green and then like the y in, I don't know, pink or something. And so when she would do her domain, she would trace the D in that color, so she only focused on that axis. She's one of those that needed that color discrimination, and it really helped her out. So she was telling me this last night. I use highlighters, red and black ink and everything, but if it helps you, do like she did. Her X was always one color, Y was another. Domain was always the same color as the X. Range was always the same color as Y. I don't know, just a suggestion. All right. Let's move on. Okay, now here's the interesting part of this. Y'all, I know, are getting what we just did because we did a lot of it last week. But there's another part to this. Finding patterns. Here's where some of you are going to love this and some of you are going to hate it. So basically, you are finding the function rule. And what's the function rule again? It is the... That's right. You are going to be finding the equation. We're going the other direction. Before, they gave us the equation and we had to, graph it and find domain and range and blah, blah, blah. This time, they're going to give us the table. Let's pretend like this is a problem, math problem. They gave you the table with your X and Y. Remember, this is also like your Y. And you have to find the equation this time. Before, they gave you the equation and you had to find your ordered pairs. This time, they gave you the ordered pairs and you have to find function rule. Which is, again, the equation. Okay, so once you have this written down, put your pencil or pen down, and I'm going to explain this. This can either give you a headache or you may love this.
What's that word?
Equation?
No, example.
Given. So this was given. You didn't have to come up with it or anything. Okay, y'all ready? How did they go from, you start with X, and you decide how did they go from X and end up with Y. Taylor, sit up or you go to Miss Green's office. So, how did they go from X plus Y in this instance? What? What did they do to X to get Y?
Did they multiply?
Well, I don't know. I'm asking.
That's what I would do.
So you would do -1 times what?
-3.
Okay, so he says, and that is a possible way, right? -1 times -3 would give you +3. Does 0 times -3 give you 4? So that won't work. Aiden?
Yeah, add 4.
Okay, -1 plus 4 gives me 3, so that will work. Does 0 plus 4 give me 4? Does 2 plus 4 give me 6? And 3, you gotta check each one. 3 plus 4 gives 7, etc. So, the answer is Y equals X plus 4. It has to be X plus, minus, multiply, divide, whatever. So whatever you do to X, you can't go backwards. You can't say, like, 4 minus 4. It can't be 3 minus 4, or, you know what I'm saying? It can't be Y minus 4 gives you X. It has to be whatever you do to X to get to Y. Okay? Always has to be Y equals. Any questions on that? All right, open up your books to page 212. Let's jump into some examples. Number 1. Actually, we have done this, number 1 and 3. We did last week, that section. We have, it's like beating a dead horse. They gave you the equation, they give you the domain, you make a table and find the ordered pairs. Right? So y'all know how to do this, correct? So section 1 and 2, you're just getting ordered pairs. I'm going to break that on there. Find ordered pairs by making a table. You did that all last week. Today we've done some examples. 3, you're going to do same as number 1, but also graph. I say we get to the good stuff.
Yeah.
So y'all know how to do those 2 sections, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just like the examples we did at the beginning of class. In fact, yeah, some of them they give you the domain, sometimes they don't. Let's look at 7. 7 says find the rule for each function. So you're looking for the equation. So 7, now notice they gave you all these ordered pairs. I'm writing them out. They're wanting you to find the rule. Let me tell you what you should do. You need to make a table. And list them. 2 and 8, 1 and 4, 0, 0, 1, 4, and then 5 and 20. Yeah.
So it's not a function. What it says is- It's right.
It's the same ordered pair.
Yeah, this is in the function then, right?
It is because it's the exact same ordered pair.
Oh, wait, yeah.
If it had a different Y, then it would be.
Would you have to put it in order?
Look, you have to put just this is the first order pair. I wrote it like this. Second one, like this. This one goes here. This one goes here. This one goes here.
Okay.
Now we have to find that function rule. How they go from X to Y each time. So someone besides Aiden want to take a guess. Taylor.
Y equals X times 4.
Y equals X times 4. Let's see. 2 times 4 is 8. 1 times 4 is 4. 0 times 4 is 0. And 5 times 4 is 20. So, yes, Y equals, or you can even say Y of X equals 4 times X. If you were to write X times 4, it looks weird, but I'm not going to count it wrong.
Would it technically be 4X?
Yes.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Any questions? Everyone have it down? Put your pencils down if you're done. All right, let's do another. Look at number 9. I'm going to make oh yeah, this could be f of x, it doesn't matter, same thing. I'm going to just write them out this time instead of the ordered pairs because you can see that in your book. Will be correct. Write those out and raise your hand if you think you can figure it out. Anyone besides Taylor and Aiden? Whit?
Plus -2.
Okay, so the -3 plus -2 gives you -5. -1 plus -2, would that give you -3? 2 plus -2 would give you 0. So does that check out? Yeah. So you could say x plus -2, or you could say x minus 2.
Yeah, I feel like X minus is slightly easier.
Hey, it doesn't matter. It's the same exact thing. So both are correct. Any questions? All right. I'll do one more. Look at 15. Everyone looking? You're going to list first. List ordered pairs. So in 15, the ordered pairs are -2 and 0. Do y'all see the graph? So you got to get these right. -1 and 1, 0 and 2, 1, 3, and 2 and 4. So 15, we just wrote out the dots as ordered pairs, and then 2, make a table. I'll let y'all catch up. Cecilia? Very, very good. F of x equals x plus 2. And you can't just write plus 2. You have to write the whole thing.
Can we put Y equals X plus 2?
This is proper, but I won't take off if you wrote y. Any questions? Real quickly, look at 17. It's a straight line. You're going to do the exact same thing on that we did on 15, but you're going to choose ordered pairs. Remember what I taught y'all last year? Choose the the ones on the crosshair. You know what I'm talking about? So you're just gonna list them. Here, if you want, I'll list them for you. For 17, it's a straight line, and I'm gonna set y'all free. -6 and -2 can be found there. -3 and -1. Do y'all see where I'm going? And 3 and 1. And that's enough. I mean, you don't have to have too many. And then you do the same thing, make a table. So on 17, you look at that line and you choose ordered pairs that are right there in that like intersection. And you list them, make the table, and figure it out. Any questions? All right. Y'all will do page 212. I won't give you too many numbers. There you go. Due Tuesday. You have a test Friday. That's it for everyone. Lights, please.